of rock and roll.
Well, good morning. I hope you can hear me. Good morning, everyone. I hope everything's going great. We're doing live stream on the dual stream and the other stream, and everything's going okay so far. May the odds be ever in our favor. I've changed some things, as you can see. I've changed this stream. I try to work on it, right, my friends? I've got Kelly Laughlin. I've got Rion Cultastic in the background, waiting to go do that voodoo that we do so well. But the tech gremlins have been all over me like ugly on a stick. So, where it looks like things are going, I'm going to play our normal traditional little commercial here, and when I get back, we'll do the show, and it'll give me a moment to see if everything's going okay. Un moment, s'il vous plaît.
Finnegan!
Yes, sir. Very disturbing, I know.
Fetch me Father Finnegan.
Your Highness.
You are in the presence of His Holiness, the Puppius Maximus, guardian of the sacred fire hydrant, defender of the holy tennis ball, and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poopsalot the Fifth.
Your popedom. I heard you have a bone to pick with me.
Condoms, Father Finnegan?
No, thank you. I've got plenty.
That's what I mean. Why are you selling condoms?
Oh, you mean our Pharaoh Sombrero line of condoms? Understood.
You know how we feel about those around here.
Well, they're not to be used by the Catholics, of course.
Not for Catholics?
No, they're part of our Sinner Gonna Sin lack of faith outreach program.
A sinner gonna what?
It's like getting the tithe, but from the heretics and the heathens and the atheists.
Oh, well, when you put it like that.
But, Your Highness, this will reflect very poorly on the church.
True. You know what this means, Flanagan?
Warning label, a warning label on the box, not for Catholics in big letters.
Too subtle.
Instant purgatory if used by Catholics.
I like it. Divine branding.
Excellent, your popedom. Would there be anything else?
That will be all. You may leave.
No more. Ha 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 ha. I win. All right. Oh, good morning, everyone. Wait. I still have bugs to work out, but I think I got it. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone can see us on all the things at the places. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, I heard you all. That is, yeah, we got our chat, we got our phone number over there by Ryan, without covering Ryan, because she's too pretty to cover all the time. Kelly, though, we can cover Kelly, it's okay.
We'll have to look at my ugly mug anyway, huh?
And of course, we're also streaming yonder on the vertical stream, so I hope you guys can all see that, and those who are over there, and I hope it's all going good for you who are into that sort of thing. Good morning. I'll be watching the chat to see how that goes. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend, as it were. Ryan, did you guys have a good show yesterday on Java and Jugs?
Yes, we did. We've been kind of celebrating Women's Month. So we went through some inventions, just general conversation. We also talked about what's going on in the world, because you just kind of
gotta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like impossible not to at least address it.
Yeah.
Intentionally or unintentionally.
I got to catch the first half and it was awesome, but I had to go. I had a doctor's appointment for the second half, so
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, I was busy doing stuff. I was actually trying to get this stuff here working. I've been doing stuff. I've been crazy busy. You know how it is when the medicine works. Look, All right. Let me say hello to the chat. Good morning, Chris Moore. Thank you for joining us today. The Prestige is here. Hey, it's been a day or three. Miss Non Sequitur hugs. I hope you're doing great. I have been flogging myself and making myself a better person. Ask Ryan, so I will not be a mean person on the show to our own people anymore, but I will be mean to other people who deserve it. And Ryan has approved these steps. So says I.
It's like a 12-step program.
It is. I'm getting better. Slowly. I'm growing as a person. Chris Moore, good morning. John Hudson is here. Good morning, John. And we'll, like I said, we'll turn on the calls later on. We're still streaming to Discord. So if you're into the Discords kind of thing, pop over there, listen over there. You can listen, watch over there, and you can also call in should you decide to call in. So we're going to give a thing. Miss Non Sequitur says, I took a month social break, media break, but I'm back. That's awesome. Thank you for coming back. And you know how it is every time somebody leaves, especially when you're a jerk like me, like, son of a bitch, what did I do? Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I could have done or said because I know how I ish. So it looks like everything is going great. I'm just checking my numbers here. Kelly, good morning, Kelly. How are you doing? I've actually figured out quite a few things. I believe I may have figured out, I don't know if I figured out yet, how to put me up and let you guys go through the show without me being up. I'm trying to still pull me down and see if, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's go. Boop.
I don't know if that's a good strategy. It's my face. You probably want to get off the screen.
Well, maybe it'd be nice to see. That's the whole deal. It'd be nice to take a break, to be able to run the show from the background, take a break, let somebody else, do the thing.
I just had to get the joke out there.
Oh, of course,
I like self-deprecating humor. And I have a huge ego. Everybody thinks that I have this ego problem because I do self-deprecating humor, and I have a huge ego. I have no problems with my ego at all.
So essentially, you're just keeping yourself in check.
Yeah, pretty much.
Understood. Right. All right. That all looks pretty cool. I think everything's working so far. Perfect. Okay. Let me ask Ryan. Ryan, did you have a good weekend? Do you got any big plans? Let me test this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull me down and see if you guys can still hear each other and if the stream can hear you.
Okay.
Looks like they can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, let me just tell you about my weekend. So we planned back in December to do a birthday thing, like a mutual birthday thing between myself and my son. And because you guys just have to let us know if you can hear us and everything. And because of the weather, it got postponed and postponed and postponed. So finally, after 3 months, we were able to do our lunch on Sunday, and it was delicious, and it was lovely getting to see everybody, and I miss them so much. The
awesome.
weather. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very, very late birthday celebration.
Very cool. I'm glad to hear. It worked. Apparently it worked whenever we get a caller, and whenever we start taking calls and we do the thing, it's going to work. I'm very excited, guys. Thank you all for being my guinea pigs this morning. 1,000 apologies. There's no guarantee that when I do this tomorrow, it won't happen again. I'm still learning all this new stuff, but it's really cool. And for those of you who dig the vertical, it's going to be a cool thing.
Yeah, it looks good.
I'm going to be learning a bunch of this stuff starting today too, so maybe I could throw a hand in every once in a while when I get a little bit more proficient at it.
What's that, Kelly?
I'm going to be learning more tech stuff. I got a new job, so okay. I'll be learning. So I might be able to help you out at some point in the future when I get better.
That's awesome. Well, I'm one of those incurable ones. I'm always, I'll bounce from one thing to another. And whenever I fix something, I just move on to the next thing I can't figure out until I figure it out. Just kind of how it is. Thank you, though.
Just till you work it out. Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Telltale Media is here. Good morning, Telltale Media. And D20, Secular Feelinist. a goddess. That's you. That's her. And then I also saw Kiwi Banana. Wow, the Happy Heretic, Randall Flagg. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. So let me go here. The topic of the day. Now that I've finally got everything settled in, we'll briefly discuss the topic of the day before we go to our first break. And then whenever we come back, we'll start taking calls on it. Now, the topic of the day is Christianity is bad for society. That's the topic of the day. And see, I think that's kind of a... Go ahead.
Do we want to start making a list?
Why? You might crack open a notepad. I'm just saying. I got one open myself, ready. It's ready.
I just type it on my computer so that way I have as much room as I need because I'd run out.
Exactly right.
Notebook.
It's going to be a long one. Exactly right. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of the thing. A lot of people often talk about how Christianity is, we hit it on the show all the time. It gets, listen to the old man Chris talk about it, about how Christianity claims to be this thing of love and all this business, but when you start to look at it, it's really about oppressing and hurting and being mean to other people, spreading your nutbaggery. And do you guys remember the other day I told you about a psychologist guy that he's all about
study and whatever thing. Yeah.
Yes, I found him. And I will be presenting some videos to him later, just brief stuff to just kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. And I know this is going to sound crazy because, we're just a super, super tiny little channel. But I am going to reach out to him and see if I can get him to come on the show.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah. Yeah. We'll all have a circle prayer.
I reached out to some people to be on Truth Wanted that have like over 1 million subscribers. None of them have ever gotten back to me, but I keep reaching out anyway. So,
Right. It happens. You try. Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. Telltale Media says when they started saying Iran war is holy and necessary to pop off Armageddon, that there's that. We talked about it on the show. I got a message from Rainbow Ash going, hey, there's only one report about the general telling the people about and that may be true about that instance, but I've just been hearing it from so many other different places that this is a Christian war.
Report.
Oh, what?
There was 200 reports to the that organization I told you about, the religious military. Right. It's MMRF. I just can't remember what the words.
The Military Freedom from Religion Foundation for the Military. Military Freedom from Religion Foundation. It's FFRF for the military, I believe. Because I saw it the first time I saw it, yeah. And see, that's what I thought too. The military version of the FFRF. And then whenever I got the message from Rainbow, it was like, it's a very, very... what was it? Untrustworthy source. I'm like, maybe you're not seeing the same source I was seeing, but I've been working on other shit. I hadn't had the chance to address it,
There's more than one general, but
yeah, could be. We'll see. It's worth checking out, and it may increase. We're hearing it. I've heard it from other places. Are you Yeti? Good morning. Are you Yeti? An atom contains exactly a bunch of empty space, which basically means we live in some type of holographic matrix simulation. Well, if nothing else, it makes me feel lighter to know that for every atom, there's a whole bunch of nothing there.
My soul.
Yes. Hagee telling his flock that this war is good. Hagee. Hagee? Who's
nut job?
What do you mean, Hagee? What do you mean?
He's some pastor.
Evangelical pastor.
Old guy.
James Hagee.
Bright white hair.
Didn't he get arrested for child molestation? Hagee? Is this the same Hagee I could be wrong?
I don't think so. I could be wrong too, though.
I mean, it would fit the bill, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I got to look it up now, of course, right?
Rational Poet Jackie says, Chris, are you thinking of the Military Association of Atheists and Free Thinkers, MAF? Maybe. Possibly. I have shoved a lot of cannabis through this brain. I am supremely confident and I'm fixing to prove myself wrong, that I heard them say it was the Freedom from Religion Foundation related to them, not separate. Let me find out. But it looks like we've got Firewolf here too. I didn't know he was still living. Yeah, me too, Hagee. That's why I was like, are you talking about the same Hagee? I thought he was dead. Let's say FFRF.
I mean, what?
Did you say that out loud?
He didn't get involved in a scandal like that. There's a lot of things that he said that are kind of shitty, but like Hurricane Katrina was God's punishment for a pride parade.
I wanted to watch his,
normal evangelical crap, right?
His Operation Epic Fury, like he gave this sermon. I have it paused at minute 18 something, so I still have a little bit to go. I just want to see what crazy stuff he said.
Yeah. I found the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. Maybe that's one. There are articles exactly what we're talking about. 30 Democratic congressmen urge complaints of commanders framing Iran war as end-time prophecy. That was March 6, 2026. So I don't know how. That's one of many places, though, I guess, that I've heard from. Damn, I didn't know he was still living at John Hagee. Cornerstone Church. Everyone in this stream should be a member of FFRF. Yeah, I guess if you're not, or at least support them in one way or another. Yeah. Oh, let's go take a break real quick, guys. Let me fill up the coffee cup. We got so distracted with our tech gremlins this morning, but everything seems to be working. Let me run a commercial. Let's see if it's still working when we get back. You guys have been super patient with us this morning. So I am going to play the Pharaoh's Curse for you today. And are you ready? I know. Here we go. Kelly, if you want to hear it, let me know and I'll pipe it through the stuff. But I actually have it so we don't hear it.
I'm gonna take a quick break myself. So
all right, dance from afar. Here we go. Boop.
Yeah.
Mi burrito es tan bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. El ataco fue no bueno, it stings like a bee. They told me she was his sister, now I'm plagued between the knees. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. Mi burrito está no bueno, a full bladder I fear. Abraham's lies and Sarai's touch have left me itching front to rear. Mi burrito está no bueno, it burns when I pee. Abraham had the crotch cooties and gave his sister wife to me. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, a case of penile plague. I've got the Pharaoh's curse, there's fire between my legs. I've got the Pharaoh's case of penal play. I've got the Pharaoh's curse. There's fire between my legs.
Thank you all, my wonderful friends. We are back from the little break. I didn't know my emotes wall was not working. Something felt off. There was a disturbance in the force. However, it should now be working on the big screen. So if you guys you out there want to test it and throw us some emotes out there and see if they'll float along, I would appreciate it. Do me a solid. Good morning, Cody. Personal beliefs aside and respecting everyone's views. Thank you for that. If something I feel makes me personally happy, if there's proof or not, is that wrong? And would you try to take that feeling of happiness away from her? I would not myself, if it makes you happy, as long as it's not going to make you, and we've talked about this on the show, yay, our emotes are working, as long as you're not going to go out and hurt other people. And oftentimes your faith, that thing that makes you feel good in your head, Jesus just makes me feel good. Oh, wait, let's go vote because these people who also love Jesus told me that the conservatives were going to save babies, their little spirits. So because of Jesus, I'm going to go vote for conservatives. And now conservatives are hurting all these people because you voted to save the babies. Then, yes, I would take that away from them. Absolutely. Even if it's soft comfort. Really, it's a soft comfort, but it's a fake one. So if you want to lie to yourself, I guess so. But don't hurt other people to do it. Yeah.
That's one of the things too, and a lot of them don't realize how much hurt they're doing, because to them it doesn't register in their head that it's affecting somebody else in a negative way, right? Because to them it's all roses and hearts and love, right? So
peace.
Yeah.
The religion of love. True. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, John Hudson says, I'm just going to have to listen. That is bad. Oh, man, what's wrong? Is something wrong? Can you not hear for some reason? That's all right. Let's see. And Firewolf says, no, it's not wrong, but some people just prefer to live within reality, even if the truth stinks. I'm all against you living into whatever delusion you want to live under, as long as you're not hurting other people when you do it. You know, because I'm living under my own delusions. And I don't want to come with somebody ripping them away from me if I'm not hurting anybody else. You know?
Yeah. It's just about, you have to live in reality.
Right.
Like you can, that's
Well,
fine. You have your little fantasy and you think you're communicating with this invisible being and that he thinks you're special and that he died for you and whatever. Like, great. I'm so glad that you're like chosen.
Yeah.
I reject that. I don't have to live in reality. I will interact with it.
Wait, is this reality? Are you sure we're on the wrong timeline? Because it kind of feels like we are. No, but really, you need.
Where were you going?
In reality, when you start to implement those weird, strange beliefs on everyday people, that's where we're going to draw the line.
Yeah. Good call. Rational Poet Jackie says, I communicate with my cats. John Hudson is here. Sam Quixote. I want to mention we do have a call-in line. There's a number there, and you can also get in via the Discord. We've had some tech gremlins today as I've been developing and working on the show. If you do decide to call in, just know you're going to be a tech gremlin. God, that too. You're going to be a guinea pig. Pigs of the guinea variety. Just know that's going to happen. Hopefully everything will work right. Everything will work right, and all the banners will work right. Notice down at the bottom, we've got the topic. Is Christianity bad for society? I feel like it has. The Catholic Church alone is an excellent example of how, when you compare the help it does to the harm it's done, and most of the help it does is usually kind of just like all the other Christian sects, is really more focused for them. Oh, sure, they'll help other people too because they're Christians, right? But really, it's the Catholic people for Catholic charities for the Catholic, you know what I mean? But really, the harm they do or have done.
Yeah.
Here's what I think about. Was it good or bad that the church relaxed on the idea of usury?
What, loans?
Yeah, because like in the Middle Ages, a Christian could not loan money for money.
Right.
Right. So they've kind of changed the meaning of usury since then. So was it a good or a bad thing that they relaxed the rules of usury, do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know why they were telling people they couldn't loan money or sell or whatever the hell anyway.
Well, because Jesus said they couldn't.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of a thing. But I think Islam even has a thing against it.
Because Jesus said it.
Yeah. Neither borrower nor lender be. Was that either one of them, or am I just misremembering? I got.
Jesus actually said you can't make money by lending somebody money.
Let me look it up.
He was wrong.
And there's something in the Old Testament too, but it was only for the Jews to lend money to each other. It was okay to make money off of other people, just not anybody in your own tribe.
Right. We do have a Christian or a theist, maybe. Let's see. Zane Campbell is in the chat, says, how is hurting people wrong without objective morality? Where did it go? Damn it, it moved. If I personally feel that it's not wrong, what makes your opinion more right than mine? Well, we've been through this so many times, and really the whole notion that a theist, a believer in the God of Christianity and Islam and Abraham religion, that you have any kind of foothold or claim to what is moral and what is not moral, or morality. How objective morality, we've been over this. There's no such thing. It's no such thing. I learned something new, Kelly. I did learn something new. According to Deconstruction Zone, theists don't actually believe in, they believe in it, but they misbelieve. It's not actually objective morality. What they believe in is divine command theory. Whatever God says is right. Whatever God said is wrong. Whatever God said is right or pure is holy. Whatever God says is yucky is evil. And that's the deal. So God says murder is good, but God said murder was bad. But then he also said, take the little girls as your sex slaves after you've slaughtered the entire people in their village. So therefore, slaughtering all those people and taking children as sex slaves, that's good by this God, because it lays out objective morality. And the problem with this,
what God wants, God gets, right?
So, yeah. Exactly. By any means necessary. And not in the good kind of way, oddly. Why is it never in the good kind of way? What's up with that? I don't know. You've done this.
Equal all the rigmarole.
Is that an objective good kind of way or a subjective good kind of way?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I really don't know at what point do they, again, if they're saying that what their God says is objectively right and wrong, and what it is true, then that's true. That would be true universal. But even among themselves, they don't agree what God says is right or wrong. Some of them think women should cover their hair. Some of them think they shouldn't work on the Sabbath. Some of them think gay people should be hung. They don't all agree, so it's not objective at all. Even in its books, right. It's not objective. It changes from one place to another place to another place. So now we as atheists, we depend on how we were brought up in our society, teaching us what's right or what's wrong, and whether or not to hurt people, how to be treated, and how to, live. It's not, again, we hit the whole particles thing. It's really these people. What is it about this notion that we're just particles? It's just a filled up thing. I
really have a problem when Christians bring up the morality argument, right? First off, almost everything that's moral in that direction was already written down 200-300 years beforehand in Babylonia, right? That's the first thing. And second off, it boils down to, do you really need God to tell you not to go out and kill people? Do you really need God to tell you not to go out and steal and rob from others? Do you really need that? Right. Because I don't need that. So it makes me wonder, is that like when you use that as your argument for God's existence, damn, dude, I think you need to really get a better foundation for your own morality, right?
Really.
Apparently
that's true.
It needs more when it comes from an invisible being.
Apparently.
We have a discussion about what we shouldn't do to harm people, and we have empathy and compassion and whatnot. But when it comes to God, yeah, no.
Right. It's interesting that these people go along and they're like, oh my goodness, without God, what keeps you from doing all these horrific things? Like that's what you want to do all the time? Is that what you Christians want to do all the time? And the only thing keeping you from doing that is your God? Your morality is fucking horrific. If the only thing keeping you from killing and murdering and raping is this notion that this invisible creature behind you is going to spank you later. I don't have that creature behind me, and yet I don't go around doing those things. Ryan does. I don't do those things.
You know what keeps me from doing that, right? Empathy.
What's that? Empathy. Yeah.
That's all. That's all you need, guys. You don't need God.
Yeah.
You just need a little bit of fucking empathy.
Yes.
Yeah. Walk around somebody else's shoe.
That's a good one. I dig it. Cody is here. Giles is here. Future of Earth is here. Zane Campbell says, so if I personally believe that murder and slavery is fine, you can't disprove that it is without moral law. I don't have time to explain these things to you. I just don't. I mean, our society has taught us that they're bad. Hey, listen, Zane, go unalive your neighbor and see how that works out for you. Go unalive your neighbor, and then because you're just particles, right? Go down to the police station and tell them you did it, and they won't care because you're just particles. That's just stupid. It's stupid. Our society teaches us what's good and what's wrong and what to do and what not to do. And yet now you think because you're a Christian and that your God is something, but look how many Christians are out unaliving other people all the time, harming, hurting, murder, death, kill, Christianity, slavery. It's all over the place. And yet somehow you're moral. Huh. Mm-hmm. What were you going to say?
When you go to the police station after talking to your neighbor too, tell them that your God told you to do it. It was a test of your faith. So
exactly right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And did you show them the scripture? Because that's the same Bible. Remember, this is the same Bible. If you get sworn into office, you can use that to swear in, but you can't use it to testify to defend yourself in a court of law. What up with that? Interesting. We should have background music. I just think. Yeah.
I have some in my head all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, I really do. I got like jazz fusion that plays in my head like 80% of the time.
For some reason, there's like live background coming from one of you, and normally I don't hear it, and it makes me go, wow, it's quiet. We need music. We could do some music. Let's see what our individuals said. We do have the phone line in if you want to call in and visit with us about your God. Again, the question of the day is Christianity is bad. I put it up on the screen for me so I wouldn't know and forget. Christianity is bad for society. What do you think? David, trust the aura. Now, Kelly, you take a lot of calls over on the other channels, Truth Wanted, and what's the other one? Nonprofits. You don't do nonprofits. Talk Heathen. Do you often get the same, hey, you're a bunch of particles, what makes everything right? Why is your right more wrong than my right? And actually, that's true because there's a group of people who lay out the laws of our society, and they actually determine what is right and what is wrong, and their right is legally more valid than your right. And that changes from every city you go to. Whoever makes the laws there, their right determines what's right or wrong. So you go to a state that has the stand your ground laws, then you can shoot somebody who comes into your house against your will. But if you don't live in a state, because you're subjective to the laws of the people, their right and wrong, their morality is but then when you live in a state that doesn't have the stand your ground laws, that changes a little bit. So.
I know that what it always gets me about it. I don't think these guys actually think it through because, what subjective morality or this objective morality is based on the Bible and the biblical God, right? Well, isn't choosing that as your basis, isn't that being subjective in and of itself? So you're choosing a subjective morality and claiming that it's objective. Yeah. And I don't think, that's what's going on there. And I don't think 99% of them realize they're doing that.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Miss Ryan?
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Gosh, I don't know.
No, there's a delay.
No, that's okay. There's just so much there's so much to say, and there's just so much I was thinking. And then I looked at secular feminists, and my head was going to other stuff because, like, for example, masked armed men who kick your door in without any sort of judicial warrant. And we've discussed before Breonna Taylor and what happens when cops just break into somebody's home and start firing willy-nilly because they feel scared or whatever. Well, yeah, people are going to shoot at you if you break into your house, dummy. You know, that's what they want because they want to be able to shoot freely. But come on, this is under the guise of a Christian nation.
Right.
And this is our behavior. This is how we treat people. So yeah, now with ICE just raiding places, it's going to get worse.
Yes, Christian nation that's looking to kill people at every opportunity. Every opportunity. You know what? We've got Jackie on the line. Jackie, the rational poet. I wish she's on the line, and she's willing to help us test the call-in situation. Let's do this. Here we
Hi,
go.
Jackie.
I'm going to bring Jackie up. Hold on. She hasn't up yet. Let's see. Can you hear Jackie now?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. No, I wanted to expound on the morality issue, and I think, of course, I don't have to repeat this to you, but animals display this all the time. My two most favorite animal videos that you can find online are the paddler on the tricycle, and the dog comes and attacks the kid on the tricycle, and the cat just comes swerving out of the blue, attacks the dog and chases it away. Now, that cat never read a Bible, never read a Quran, never read the Bhagavad Gita, never read the Torah, never read the Talmud. And it still figured, hey, that's my friend over there. I'm going to protect it. The other one is the elephant at the zoo. The cat falls in the pool, and two of the elephants rush into the pool to get the elephant out. Again, those elephants have never read any holy book ever. So how did they figure that out? Because our species has, like many other species, have evolved to socialize, and that socializing is what develops empathy.
Empathy. That's what I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
People within your circle can see that. So they try to do something to alleviate that hurt. And that's where empathy comes from. It's not from holy books.
Not at all. No. We had holy books long before. Thank you, Jackie.
Okay. That's it.
You know,
That's all I
it
wanted
goes
to say.
both
You
ways,
guys-
too.
See you later. Right.
Bye, Jackie. That goes both ways, too. It goes into bad things as well as good things, right? Chimpanzees had fought wars between tribes of chimpanzees, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't need the Bible to teach them that. So
That's true. Well, I was actually making some notes over here that we do have animals. We have examples of animals in nature displaying empathy, as Miss Jackie just talked about in zoos and stuff. We are and our domesticated animals, but then also in nature is kind of where I'm going with that. Also, we have in nature examples. I just saw it today of like crows and wolves working and living together. Where, you know, they just do. The wolves will kill a thing, they'll open it up, the bird will come down and eat, the bird will go find a thing, the wolf will follow the bird, it'll kill the thing, they work together. There's examples of octopuses and a certain kind of fish. I can't remember is it octopuses? There's two different kind of ones that's big and moves slow, but anyway, they work together. They're completely different species. We see that a lot out there. So empathy is developed naturally. Just naturally from develop. Yeah.
Like the habitat, I guess, depending on what your surrounding is, what your environment is. Like, if you have a certain danger, certain predator, you're going to develop certain ways because of that. And, similarly today, we're kind of developing a certain kind of like, I want to stay away from the Christians.
and we've been pointing out all this, kumbaya, the way animals love and everything. So it's got must have this universal morality where everything knows that everything else must live and be happy, right? But no, animals also display how they will kill and eat their own kind. They will kill their own kind, as I think Kelly mentioned, chimpanzees. kill the other kind for territory. So we've seen man has more hang-ups than most animals. What you won't find in nature is animals killing other animals for homosexuality. Even though all those species, any of those species out there to display homosexuality, you won't find them killing each other for it. But you will admit humans. And in fact, one of the things is, despite religion claiming to bring morality, it actually kind of narrows the morality of humanity. Yes.
If anybody would like to learn more about that chimp war, though, it's the Gombe chimp war, Gombe. And it actually lasted for 4 years between two tribes of chimps. It's pretty crazy to learn about. I was kind of shocked. I thought, because you always think of the animals being better than that, than to find out they actually fought a war just like us. Damn it! I wanted you to think better of them.
Yeah, well, I don't know myself about thinking better of them. It's just I never really thought that they necessarily had the capacity to consider this is my territory and we as a group are going to defend it against our own people. Now, wolves have their territory and they line it out. So will wolves go to war with each other over territory? I suppose they will. Maybe it's just not seen as unique or interesting, perhaps, whenever chimpanzees do it. Benjamin Aristotle, good morning, says Christians love pyramid schemes. I guess they kind of do.
Yeah, they're very drawn to MLM. It seems to be like
they had one of the first pyramid schemes, right? Convincing everybody that they built them as slaves, right?
The original pyramid scheme. Yeah.
No, it is. And that, I think kind of how it developed.
Yeah. Yeah. They took the lead, right, from Christianity. One of the things that I've been watching, I've been kind of learning, I've been watching Dr. Kip and I've been watching Dr. Josh. I listened to them and this thing the other day that they did. And I've been learning a lot about the Bible and the Old Testament. And it's kind of come to my attention that the entire founding of what the Israelites and the Jews and all those people would have you believe, it's all made up. Every bit of it. The entire history of it's all Moses. Now you guys are like, right, but I've never really thought of that as they thought as the actual history of their people. Moses did this, and then I was listening to Dr. Josh and Kip, and they were talking about how once they got to the promise, they had to destroy 300 cities or towns or whatever. Once they got there, I'm like, man, these people were, wow.
Villages. Let's face it.
A ton of them to do all that.
Yeah.
There's no evidence. Yeah. That's so weird.
That's true. Well, one of the guys they were watching a video as a video review. They were arguing about this guy was like, well, they didn't destroy the towns. They just took them. They took the town. They didn't destroy it because they wanted to use those towns. My thinking is, even just as a lowly redneck, Shakespearean kind of redneck, that, maybe I could see them. I could see them going in and killing all the people.
Yeah, they just destroyed the people.
Okay, so I can see them going in and destroying all the people. That's great. Now we've destroyed all the people. Now they're going to wear their clothes and eat their food and ride in there. No, they're going to bring their entire own society. So even if they did keep the buildings, their clothes would change, the relics would change, the symbols would change. All of those things would change almost overnight. And yet it didn't.
Assimilation.
Yeah.
They would assimilate the people, not themselves, into the culture. They would assimilate people into there.
Right. And then they'd move into this town, and all of a sudden the clothes that were left in the dumpsters or in the trash, or all the whatever you'd find starting from then forward would be Hebrew. Or Hebrewized, they wouldn't continue on with the same Canaanite clothes, Canaanite traditions, Canaanite whatever that they just slaughtered out of their homes. But I actually think they put a very good argument forward as to why, because this guy was claiming, you know, they just suppressed them, they just moved them, they weren't as vicious, or they didn't do this thing. But Dr. Kip and Dr. Josh and Justin, no, was it Justin? No, it was Holy Kool-Aid. Anyway, they kind of put a really good argument. Got a lot of biblical evidence as to why, no. They went in and they slaughtered everyone, put them all to the sword. Do it now, hesitate not.
I mean, that's what the Bible says.
That's what it says. It just surprises me that these people try to defend it. So I don't know. Let me see what's going on here. I don't know.
I guess because God allegedly gave people land. It's just weird that God would give you land that somebody else was already occupying. Like,
right.
That's a strange God. And then why wouldn't you just like handle that business? You're going to sell something to somebody and not have the property empty. That's like me selling a house to somebody that I'm like renting out to somebody else and not telling the renter that they need to skedaddle. And then the new person coming in and be like, wait, what the F is happening?
Right.
You can't do that.
Right. And you know, if God could come to these people, his chosen people, and go, listen, you need to go over here and take this land. I know it's going to sound crazy. It's going to sound crazy. Why couldn't this God creature go to the people in that land and go, listen, this land is for my other people and you need to go away. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you do that and make them go away? Not tell them and then they ignore him and that's why they're people. No, he's God. He changes their heart like he changes the heart of the Pharaoh and they fucking leave and his people come in. Nobody has to die.
That's what I was just going to say. It. You got to before I did. All I got to do is change their heart and make them want to go home, go somewhere else.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, once you believe in miracles, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Everything to be a long, drawn-out process. People are grieving, where people are trauma bonding, where people are confused. He'll love that. He lives for it.
Yeah. And for some reason in the Bible, that this creature in the Bible is just violent, ugly, horrific, and they come to Jesus, and Jesus comes to a couple of places, and he's like, dude, chill out, be nice to folk. And then they claim that those phrases are the encompassing message of the religion and ignore everything else, all the murder, death, kill, the blood, all the things they just do. Matter of fact, we have somebody here says, just enjoy the love, be something about love. We're not talking about Christianity, are we? Love is a human emotion. Thank you, Sir Equinox. Peter Outlaw is here. Wow. Good morning. What does Peter Outlaw have to say? God likes blood and death. You're not wrong, Peter Outlaw. Love is necessary, says Robert. Yeah, couldn't disagree. What is your term on the view free? What is your view on the term free will in comparison with nature and society?
Meaning what? Meaning what exactly?
Why is free will important to the existence of God?
Ooh, I can answer that one. Because if their God either allows you to have free will or does not allow you to have free will, and that's an entire conversation just in those two. If it does allow you to have free will, then you're responsible for everything you do. If it does not, then you're not responsible for everything you do. It is, because it already knew. So that's why it's such a big thing with the God botherers.
It just seems like they bring it up a lot of times to demonstrate that their God exists because we have free will. And I don't understand the connection between the existence of the God and us having free will. You know what I mean? Like 2 + 2 = 4. It's free will plus what equals God, right? That's what I don't get.
Well, here's another thought. There is the God botherer part of it. But then let's take that aside. Let's set that aside. And then you can go watch, I think it's Sam Harris, debate free will outside of a God, whether we have free will or whether our brain actually just came out, all those things. So ignoring a God, whether we actually have free will or whether it's all the little pool balls in our brain going all this which way, and they've already determined where they're going to hit and when. Is it free will? Is it not free will? I got to be honest. Take the God out of it. I don't really sit around and think about that sort of thing so much. I can't tell. So, anyway, Ryan, what's your thoughts on it? Free will? I think women have a different perspective. Go ahead.
Well, I used to think that free will existed, but not so much anymore, because what good is your free will if someone can just take it from you? Is it free will?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That I mean, if somebody could explain that to me, maybe there's just something I'm not getting past. But and the connection to God, no, I have no idea why they always need to bring up that free will question and God. I think it's because they more so don't understand than anything.
That's a good question.
Explain it to them.
That's a good one. You know what, guys, I forgot. Let's take a. Did we run? We didn't already run a break, did we? Let's take a quick break. Let's fill our coffee cups. When we come back, we'll say hi to Steve Gadakis and those other wonderful.
I was going to say, man, you're doing everything just a second before me. I was going to say hi to Steve too. Hi, Steve.
That's my job. That's what I do. Hi, Axel. That's what I do. Let's see. What should we do to these poor people? Let's do the postmortem baptismal kits. We'll be back. Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my... Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love. I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is? It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No! Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved. Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I could see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
First time I drank coffee in a week.
And we are back. First time we drank coffee, so we're going to watch you speed your titties off. Hippie speedball.
Yeah, I've been staying away from caffeine this week for reasons.
Yeah. Good morning, Iggy Whiskers. Thank you for joining us. They didn't burn witches, they burned women. Hashtag truth. Very true. Very true. William Graves is here. Future of Earth is here. Firewolf Wodenson. For those of you who haven't noticed, There's also, we're now streaming horizontal and vertical. So if you're on a mobile device and you want to do the vertical, but you're watching us, there's a link at the top. Go over there and you watch us on the other stream. It's pretty cool. It's all working. It's very functional, fancy. So just to let y'all know. Or if you found yourself catching on the vertical, because that's what your stream notified you. I'm like, what the hell's going on with the vertical? Just know there's also a horizontal stream in the top of the chat. You'll find the link. So I haven't heard any arguments yet this morning, at least from anybody in the chat. Nobody's called in for why God is actually good for society. Yeah.
I can give you an answer.
Okay.
Those people we were talking about earlier that would go out and murder and rob and steal, and if it weren't for their God, it's keeping those people in check. So yeah. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, honestly, because you do kind of grow up believing that you're being watched at all times. So to some extent, maybe that is what holds them back from doing what they really want to do. But then there's also the other side where it grooms people to do those things, and it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that the people, they don't realize how. I mean, do you sit there and go, oh, look at that woman, I'd sure like to. Oh no, God, you're there. Oh no. God is there. He won't let me. No, they don't. They don't really. I just don't think they like that. They lean on that as much as they'd like us to believe.
I was just coveting something of my neighbor's just this morning.
Were you? Yeah. All the cool kids are doing it. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Brian.
Sir Equinox said, is it really keeping those people from doing terrible things? And you know how Christians really love to attribute all good things are God, all bad things are Satan or demons or some kind of evil spiritual force. So anytime they do something good, whether it's an award or whatever, they're thanking God for it. So when they do something good, they're like, oh, God guided me. They gave, someone who was unhoused $10. Like, oh, God led me here to give this to you. Right. Like you hear people doing that kind. No, you're a good person. Right. That's you saying I should do something here. This is your spirit moving you to behave good, but they want to just give it all to God. I give stuff to unhoused people, but it's not because I want any glory or because God told me to. I just feel like, well, damn, a human should help a human if a human can.
That's right. And so who's more moral? Are you more moral because you're helping them out of the kindness of your heart? Or are they more moral because they think their God is watching and they won't get into heaven if they don't do the kindness act? Who's more moral? I'm just curious. Christians in the chat, feel free to help us out with that one.
Is it a performance? Is that something they do to try to bring other people in, getting people when they're vulnerable, when they're weak, trying to witness to someone like that to bring them into the flock?
Maybe.
Sir Equinox, I don't think any criminals are their minds are being changed by that. They're just, criminal's going to criminal. But
that's true.
But the idea that I have some superior being watching over my shoulder could keep an honest person honest. Right.
Maybe.
That's where it helps. It makes honest people stay honest.
We got a couple of people on the phone. We've got Bonnie. Let's bring up Bonnie. She's been here for a couple of minutes. We'll bring Bonnie up. And we also have Campbell. It says from the chat. Hi, Bonnie. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
Hi, Bonnie.
Good. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. What's going on today?
Okay. Yeah, you were talking about Moses a little while ago, and, a lot of people don't believe that any of that happened. So anyway, there's so many things about Moses that don't make sense. Like in Genesis, Jehovah told Abraham that his seed would inherit, he would have so many seeds that would be like the sand of the seashore, when he didn't have any kids yet. Mm-hmm. But then you go to Genesis chapter 25, and after Sarah dies, he marries Keturah in Genesis chapter 25. And one of the children that he has by her is Midian. But then you go into Genesis or Numbers chapter 31, and Jehovah tells Moses he's got to kill all the Midianites. So then, there's 32,000 virgin girls that they kept over for themselves. So you think, okay, well, it probably had to be at least 1 million Midianites that he would have killed.
Right.
Wow, that's a lot of
They
Midianites.
have 32,000 virgin girls left over. And these are slaves. They came out of Egypt with nothing but bread. And yet they're going into all these cities and they're killing millions of people with swords.
Isn't that
These
interesting?
are supposed to be slaves. So they kill all these Midianites. Now, Abraham was told that his seed would inherit the earth. Midianites were his seed. And yet Jehovah tells Moses to kill them all. I mean, Abraham's seed, after Sarah dies, he has these other women, wives, and they have all these children, and they're all living in Canaan. And yet these are all of the people that they're supposed to kill. It just doesn't add up.
Boggles the mind.
No,
doesn't
there's
it?
there's so many contradictions in the story, like with the being enslaved in Egypt. Well, we find out that they were able to leave Egypt with money and gold bracelet. I mean, remember they melted these gold bracelets down to create the golden calf. So they actually left well off. The only reason they had a hard time is because allegedly Moses didn't say that God brought the water out of the rock. Like everybody had to suffer or something like that because of something he and his brother and sister allegedly done or whatever. Anyhow, we know how that ends. But, if they left there slaves, how did slaves leave wealthy? So were they really slaves, or were they just people employed in Egypt and for whatever reason wanted to leave so they could go murder a bunch of people? And then again with Midian, another one is that we remember when Moses fled Egypt, remember when he's in Egypt, and he fled because he killed one of the Pharaoh's dudes, head honcho, or whatever, he got afraid. He fled to Midian. Midian's where he found his wife. So he knows all these people. Like he was living amongst these people and then goes and murks them all. Huh?
And
right?
Yeah. Have you seen a pattern? It seems like there's a pattern. So in the Old Testament, the ancient Hebrews got some land, and then they went in and they slaughtered everyone in that land until it was their land. That was their goal. And now we have Israel. They've gotten the land, and now they're going in, and their goal is to, now we're just talking about Zionists. You know how we are. We like to split that hair. But still, you can see by their actions exactly what they're doing. The example is there for them from Moses. Go in, take the land, and kill everybody. Now, second point I want to make is that in chapter 16 of Genesis, God comes to Abraham in a vision and in physical form, in fact, and lies to says, you're going to have all this land, your descendants are going to have all this land, you're going to own this from here to here, from here to here, and it never, ever happens. They never own that land, ever, especially 400 years after. We have, like we're beyond that now, and we know that we can go back and look, 400 years after this was allegedly written, they didn't own that land. They never owned all that land. So God just lied to him. He lies all the time. The God of lies.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that land was so waxing and waning with the different people, like who they were vassals to, like they're vassals to Egypt, then they're vassal to Assyrians, and they're vassal to Babylon, they're vassal to Persia, then they're vassal. The only real time that I can see where you could maybe say Israel was like over a lot of land was for a very short period of time, which I think is like the Hasmonean time period. And so that's like, like a couple hundred years or something like that before Jesus or whatever. But that's like the only time. And yeah, Rome was assholes for what they did. I'm not like saying yay for what they did. Right. What happened was a tragedy and was terrible, but like doing the same pattern, like just repeating that pattern over and over, you're going to get that same pattern. Like if we repeat this pattern, then we're going to get that pattern, because why wouldn't you? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right.
They just needed some Lebensraum.
That's it.
I said they just needed some Lebensraum. That's all.
What's that?
It's one of those things where you just want us to say, what's that?
Yeah. The Lebensraum was why Hitler started World War II. He needed living space, living room.
Oh,
for
I
the
see.
German people. So you get rid of the people that are there and you move in.
Yeah.
Lebensraum.
It's a theme. It's a theme. Bonnie, thank you. Are you still there, Bonnie?
Sorry, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I started talking and I forgot you were there.
Okay. There's so much about it that just don't make sense.
Right.
You know, like when he sent Hagar into the wilderness to basically die, and he says to Hagar, "Go back, you know, and serve Sarah, etc. And I'm going to make your son a great nation." So you know, so her other son is, you know, was supposed to be a great nation. You know, the first one, Ishmael, and he had all these. Not kings, I forget what they're called, but yeah, they have their lineage is all in the Bible.
Yeah.
Jacob's half brother, I mean his brother is in the Bible too. Their lineage is in there, but Jacob's children aren't. The lineage is not in there at all until he gets to Isaac.
Right.
And then when you're reading Exodus, this is so crazy. So they leave Egypt with nothing except they supposedly went and stole all this gold and stuff from the Egyptians, and then they leave with nothing but the bread, you know, unleavened bread. But yet they got all these animals, and yet they have to live on manna. So, and yet they're sacrificing all these animals. And then the last third of Exodus, they have all of the stuff for making the tabernacle. They have all the tents, the cloth, the gold, the wood, everything, and yet they left with nothing.
They had nothing.
I mean, the whole thing. You know, if anybody would just read it, it's like it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Very
Anyway,
true.
that's what I had to say, so I'll hang up now.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. We appreciate you. We've got another caller we'll bring up real quick before we take our next break.
Later.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.
That's a good point, though, about all this stuff. We've got Chad Campbell, I think something about objective morality. Let's see, or object to morality. We'll find out in a second.
I'm objecting to morality, but I've gotten through my life without it so far.
Right. Good morning, Chad. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
hello?
I can hear.
Excellent. How are you doing? What's on your mind this morning?
I'm doing good, but I guess what's on my mind is, I mean, the whole argument or the question that you had posed was I think it was Christianity, or does it have a net positive or net negative impact on the world, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the topic of the show. Is Christianity bad for humanity? Go ahead.
Yeah. My whole thing is, you can't really have a kind of right and wrong, because my right and wrong can be a lot different than your right and wrong. So if you say something's good and I say it's bad, why is your thing right and mine wrong?
Well, because we can look at the overall positive net outcome of humanity. We can look at what's good and what's bad for humanity. For example, whenever you take the Catholic Church telling the African people during the AIDS epidemic that they shouldn't use condoms, that's bad for humanity. Could you not agree? Well, you couldn't agree, right? Because it's all subjective. It's subjective based on whether or not you're Catholic. If you're Catholic, then you wouldn't agree with me.
I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. It's just, it doesn't really answer my question in the light that, say I have an army and I'm going to be able to overpower you, and you believe that slavery and murder and doing terrible things to people is bad. It's a bad thing. You shouldn't do it. And I believe that it's not. If I can overpower you and just take what's yours and, you know, enslave you and do all this, and there's not really a, you know, to say who's right, I guess is what I'm saying. Because, I mean, look at throughout history, there's multiple civilizations that have enslaved people, their own people, sold them off, like the whole transatlantic, you know, slave trade. There's like the Mahomey or whatever they were called. That's probably not their name. The Homie, I think is what it was. Who, you know, would enslave their own people, and they did terrible things. Like they'd sacrifice a bunch of, I think it was kids that they captured from other tribes, dig a hole, drain their blood into the hole, and then their new king would float on a boat on the river or the little lake, or pond or whatever you'd call it, pool of blood. So, I mean, if they believe that that is fine, which they obviously did, then who are we to say, or who are you to say, you know, well, it's not. It's you believe it may not be, but if there's no moral law or anything like that, then there's no really proving that it's that, you know.
What
right
do you mean when
wrong.
you say moral law? When you say moral law, do you mean it just needs to be written down and then that's a moral law? Like
No. I'm more just that it's objectively, this is good and this is bad.
Right.
Kind of
Well,
thing. I mean, it is written down with like the whole Ten Commandments thing, but I'm not necessarily basing it on that. I'm just saying that it's objectively, even if that wasn't written down, it would be bad to do those things. But the whole argument is that there is no moral law. It's just what you feel. Feeling is what makes things good and bad, and I don't really see how that works.
Well, here's a thought, though. The fact that those people all over the world have various moralities that are so wide-ranging that some of them actually believe unaliving and bleeding their kids is good, and that's objectively, or that's moral to them. This could sort of lead to you that maybe morality isn't objective. It's subjective to the culture and the time and whatever you're in and who you are and where you are. Now, your religion, the Christianity, it's your morality ranges wildly, and we've got 2,000 years of Christians murdering other people in the name of Christianity, starting with the Holy Wars, the Crusades. They go kill everybody in Jerusalem so they could take over Jerusalem. Then the Muslims take it back.
I wouldn't go that far for the Crusades. I mean, I would argue that the Crusades were a response to the hundreds of years of Muslim aggression, where they took multiple.
Well, how do you explain the Northern Crusades then?
People and
how do you rationalize? How do you rationalize the Northern Crusades then? In Latvia, Estonia, Prussia. How do you
Well, there's also the other point about the fact that the Holy Land was in Muslim land. Whenever they were doing the Crusades, they were coming all the way from England, all across Europe, from Italy. They were coming from far away to take land away from the Muslims that were already there. Then the Muslims would retake the land.
Yeah, right. With the reconquest of Jerusalem, yeah, sure, that's totally valid.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. Seriously, I'm trying to make a point here, and I'm getting over.
Okay, go ahead.
You're going off the assumption that the Crusades were in the Holy Land. There were literally dozens and dozens of Crusades, and like 5 of them were in the Holy Land, right? The Northern Crusades, well, like I said, was Latvia, Estonia, Prussia. They just went in and conquered a bunch of people who that were believing in the old Norse gods. Yeah. Right? There was the Albigensian Crusade in France, where they just destroyed a bunch of Protestants because they didn't believe the same thing. So when you say that, you're talking about decades and centuries worth of Muslim aggression, how are you going to explain where they're killing Christians and heathens?
But what if I can latch on to what Kelly's going on there and listen to all the different Christian sects he's talking about who have their own notion of Christian morality sent down by God, and yet they're killing each other. They're killing other Christians. We've got the Catholic Reformation, where one group of them believe they have the objective morality coming from God, and so much so that they're willing to kill 20 million people in the Catholic Reformation, which, I mean, it was between the two of them, Catholic. They were Protestant Christians killing Catholic Christians. Some of the first people, whenever the what do you call them, the Pilgrims moved over here, some of the first conflagrations were between religious groups. The Quakers fighting against these other people. It's just war, murder, death, kill. Objective morality, I have no idea where. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I'm sorry. You can go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I don't know where a Christian has any notion of objective morality, unless they have no idea about the history or any of that business about their religion. Go ahead, Ms. Ryan.
Just that simply because you're I mean, we've said you're basically saying the same thing that I'm trying to say now. I'm just simply because you're a Christian does not mean everyone acts the same way and believes that all the same things are right and wrong. You could ask a number of different Christians.
No,
and they're going to give you.
I would argue what you're arguing, that that's obviously not that, that's not the case. I would agree with you.
So finish what you were saying, Ms. Ryan.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm not sure. So what is the actual issue then? You're saying that we need to set it in stone, that we have, like, that there's this objective morality. Like, how do we make everybody think, believe, feel the same thing? How do we make that happen? That's not on me. That's not a me problem. That's just a world problem, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I'm not saying that we should go and force people to believe in this and that or anything like that. The point I kind of came in here to try to make is, without any objective morality, you can't everything is therefore subjective. And if I say that this is what I'm doing, even though in your eyes it might be totally evil, is not, and I believe truthfully that it's not, then there's not really any
perfect.
Perfect.
Freeze right there. Freeze right there. You got it.
In the West, we believe Christianity, or the Western values come from Christian values, and that's kind of why we don't, uphold to that same, the same things. But there are still plenty of places throughout the world that have no problem with slavery and have no problem with, murdering kids.
Thankfully we don't have that here because of humanists.
Yeah,
not because of a humanist movement to abolish slavery.
And I want to mention about slavery, the Old Testament, the God of the Bible, the Old Testament Bible enslaves his own people several times. They piss him off, and he let them be enslaved by this people. Go look it up. He did it several times. Also in the Old Testament, the God of the Bible instructs his people how to treat their own slaves. Never says slavery is bad. And then in the New Testament, do they say slavery is bad? No. Slaves, obey your masters. So you keep talking about slavery and somehow as if Christianity was not associated with it, but Christianity is associated with it all the way back to its origins. And you can even go up, look how they had a Christian Bible during the slave trade that you were referring to. The slave trade here in the United States, they had a Bible that had cut out all the parts, and they had specifically just to kind of let the black people know that they needed to be happy with the Lord. Go look it up, the slave Bible.
That's terrible.
Yeah, in the name of God. Where's your objective morality?
I know.
How is it objective? Where do you get objective morality? You'll say, do not kill, but I can give you examples of Christians killing so many ways, and they all believed it with their heart that they were doing Jesus's work.
I think he thinks what's objective is actually subjective.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, it still doesn't make it right. You can't point towards. You could say, there are plenty, like you said, Christians that have done terrible, awful, terrible things, and it doesn't make. No Christian should, or I think, should believe, and I don't think many do, that what they were doing was justified because of their faith in God. I'm sure maybe they did at the time, but that's not what Christianity teaches.
That's right. Well, that's not what it teaches now in your sect of Christianity. But at the time, back in the 1600s, most Catholic people, 1500s, most Christians were Catholic. And whenever some of them said, no, we're going to do it differently, they called themselves heretics. They called the other ones heretics, and they killed each other by the millions. Some of them, the difference between the regular Protestants and the Calvinists was because the Calvinists thought that if you had images or statues in your church, you needed to die. This is there. Where is the objective morality in your religion? Now, if you point to today, we can use examples. Right now, go look in the news about how there are Christians who believe that the war going on over in Iran is a holy war and that it's a Christian and they're going to bring Jesus back. Where is the objective morality? You cannot find objective morality in your religion or any religion.
Just by choosing
I do know what you're talking about. I've seen that with Oh, I can't tell if somebody's talking.
Sorry, brother. That's a delay. We got a horrible delay.
I was just saying, just by choosing
good.
the morality of any one religion, you are making a subjective decision. So even by choosing the Christian morality, that's still a subjective morality. It's subjective to Christians.
But in his mind, the Christian
fair,
God gives that objective morality.
Whether outside you choose it or don't.
Sorry, delay. Say again. Say again.
I was saying it still exists whether, outside if you choose it or not. Say if you're not, if say you disappeared and somebody kills somebody who you like, and you're not there, does that still make it wrong even though you're not there to, believe that it's wrong?
Does it?
Does a bear shit in the woods kind of question? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Can I hear a tree fall in the woods?
It's really one of those.
Wrong. How is it wrong?
Well, how would it be wrong for you? Why would it be wrong for you?
Why would it be wrong for me? Because I think
what's your opinion of why?
Okay. Wait.
If I didn't say that I'm the murderer, say that I'm not. Yeah. Say I believe that it's fine to kill people. And you believe that it's wrong to kill people. You're not there. You can't believe it. So why? I'm the only one who can believe, that it is. So who's to say I'm just I'm right?
All right. Let me help out with this. Miss Ryan asked you what keeps you from doing that thing, and you're like, I say I'm the murderer. All right. So let me ask you, Chad. The only thing that keeps you from committing murder is the fact that you think there's a creature behind you watching you all the time. That's the only reason. If it weren't for that, you would commit murder. No. If it weren't for that, you would commit murder, right? Or no?
No, I'm saying in this hypothetical that I'm giving. Right.
Well, hypotheticals, if wishes were horses, man. If you listen, if you're you can keep trying to corner us into a situation until we finally go, yeah, you're right. There's no way my idea of bad is any more powerful than your idea of bad. Fine, if that's what you're going for. But we have laws, and our laws again have described how you can't. First of all, before I go back on, that you can't prove objective morality in your religion. You just can't. Cannot.
You can't prove. Yeah, sure. You can't prove. I don't know everything. I've been proving subjective morality this entire conversation. Right or wrong, then I think that's fine.
I've been proving subjective morality this entire conversation. Half the time when you describe things, you're describing subjective morality. You'll talk about how Christians over here do one thing and you do something else. That's subjective to how they feel about what their God thinks.
No, it's not. It doesn't change the objectivity that these things are bad. Whether they do it or not, or believe it or not, that doesn't make it right or that doesn't make it right or wrong or whatever.
But not all the things in the Bible that are bad.
The point you're trying to make is.
But wait, sir, I'm sorry, Chad. Is it? Yeah. There's many things that are bad. They're not in the Bible. Yeah. So how do you decipher that those things are bad if it's not talked about in the Bible? Is driving a car bad? I mean, do I know for certain that it's not bad? I mean, if it causes harm to the earth and we're supposed to be custodians of the earth, maybe vicariously God might see me as sinning because I'm harming the earth. I'm just, I'm just throwing that out there. What do you do with those things that are bad, but they're not in the Bible? Fair. How do you decipher when they're good or bad?
I think most things are I guess that's pretty nuanced, I guess I'd say, but I wouldn't personally say driving a car is bad. But I don't think there are too many people who say that it is.
Well, in Saudi Arabia, they don't let women drive cars.
Well, there's
the same, because morality is subjective. Everywhere you go, the laws that they have laid out.
So you would agree that it's
somebody who continuously drives after they've been drinking shouldn't be driving a car either.
Wrong or right, and that it can just be. There really is no true right or wrong. everything.
No, I don't believe that.
You know, what kind of feelings, kind of what you believe.
I believe that my society, the way our society brought us up. I have empathy. I grow up knowing right and wrong based on what my daddy taught me. You know, I don't have a God behind me making sure I don't do these things. So what keeps me from doing them if I don't have right and wrong? I mean, it's like you guys have this corner on right and wrong, and yet I can list so many different ways. I could cover you in blood a mile thick of Christians killing other people in the name of their God. And every one of them thought that same God that you think, they thought it had different goals and what it wanted them to do. That alone proves subjective morality, even among that. Now, what Kelly says, whenever you decide I'm going to be a Christian or I'm going to be a Muslim, you're using subjective morality to decide which one of those religions match up with yours the most. But then once you've made that decision, then you got to go figure out, find the sect of that religion, right? Are you a Catholic? Are you a Protestant? Are you an Eastern Orthodox Christian? They're all different, and all of them have different moralities, even though they all claim their God gives it to them. It's all different because they each have a subjective vision of what their God thinks. That just because subjective morality is all we have and there really is no objective morality does not mean your God is any less real or not. It doesn't. It doesn't. Your God can change its mind, and that's what Christians just won't. Fair. Right. It can change its mind. It has subjectivity of its own.
I think we'd be having a completely different conversation.
Kelly?
I think we'd be having a completely different conversation if we stopped saying these things, these bad things, and start actually talking about what bad things. Let's get specific. Let's talk about murder. Let's talk about rape. Let's talk about robbery instead of these things.
Right. Well,
right? We're kind of obfuscating the point by generalizing.
Right. I'll give an example how murder is subjective, because here in certain parts of the country, in the United States, if somebody breaks into your home, we have that stand your ground. You can murder them, but now you're not using the word murder, you're using the word self-defense. So you've finagled your way around the murder clause in the Bible. How is that objective? How do you get objective morality in any of that business?
Fern,
I mean, that has to do with a certain country's law. That's here in the States. I'm not sure how it is in other, even Western countries with self-defense laws. That is a subjective thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Ryan. What were you going to say?
Well, Fern was in the comments, and I mean, I agree with what they're saying, that I think this caller is confusing like some of the terms, but they were asking to join the conversation, but I don't know if that's a possibility to be done.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know how that you're the.
I just, like you keep saying,
I'm fine with letting them in and leaving if you guys want to get them in here. That's fine.
No,
you just keep.
Go ahead, Kelly. Kelly, go ahead.
He keeps talking about how God created this morality, and these things didn't exist before the Bible happened. And like the Code of Hammurabi covers almost everything that the Bible does, the morality of the Bible. And it was written 300 years before the Bible was started. So how do you claim that this morality came from God when it was written down 300 years beforehand?
Talking about 300 years.
That's why I said we should get into the actual specifics of it. Pardon?
You're saying, was it? I haven't really heard of it. You're saying so it was written 300 years before the time that we think the Old Testament was, starting to be composed. Or we had a fully composed Old Testament.
Yes. Yes, it's called the Code of Hammurabi. It's the first set of
Christian
laws.
view on things like that, and with other things too, is that God, has revealed himself. He doesn't do it all at once, kind of like.
So God revealed himself through the Babylonian gods?
So I'm sure there are parts.
So God used the Babylonian gods to reveal himself. Is that what you're saying? He couldn't do it on his own. He had to use the Babylonian gods to do it 300 years before he revealed himself. Does that make logical sense to you? I got to hide behind some Babylonian gods for 300 years first. Well, why did he do it then? Why did he hide behind these Babylonian gods for 300 years before he revealed himself? I'm just going with what you're saying.
Well, he revealed himself to the Israelites. They weren't. Yeah. He revealed himself to the Israelites. The Israelites aren't the people who worship.
But how come he didn't reveal him?
So
why didn't he reveal himself?
Why
did he not reveal himself? Why did he not reveal himself when this moral code was written down 300 years before the Bible? Why didn't he reveal himself then?
Those weren't the chosen people to reveal it to.
Oh, okay.
At the time,
How's that fair?
Israelites were the chosen
So
people.
why did where did those non-chosen people get their morality then?
That's what he's talking about, Chad, is that these people wrote down, they had morality written down in stone literally 300 years before the Ten Commandments. Also, I just want to kind of tack onto that. Just really using logic, ask yourself honestly, really, do you believe that before the Ten Commandments were written, people on the world didn't know murder was bad? They didn't know that was bad.
I'm sure a lot of people thought it was bad, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't.
Same with Christians. A lot of Christians think it's bad. A lot of them haven't. Over history, they have murdered, death, killed a lot of people. And to them, it was objectively right to do. It was the right to spread Christendom.
And they're still doing it today. Miss Ryan, you know what, guys? It's about time for us to wrap up.
Compared to, say, Islam, it was spread a lot more peacefully than, Islam.
No, it wasn't.
Gonorrhea is a lot better than syphilis, but they're both sexually transmitted diseases.
Go read your history. More people were killed by Christianity than by Islam, I will guarantee you.
Well, also, Christianity had 700 years of being and killing before Islam showed up.
Yep.
So there's that.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, Chad, you've been a fun caller.
The last 50 years of history, not all of history.
I know there's a lot to cover here. There really is. We'll be back tomorrow, Chad. Because there's a lot to cover. And hey, I just want to mention again, if you'll take this in mind, your God can have subjective morality. It's okay. I don't know why so many theists just want to die on that hill, that their God can't change its mind. Hell, his God says it changed its mind and then killed all the people, and then changed its mind and then flooded all the people, and then changed it. It's okay for the God of Abraham to change his mind. It does that. So we'll see you later, Chad. Thank you very much for calling. You have a good day.
Thanks, Chad. That was fun. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you. We got a delay. I'm gonna pull this down so I don't forget. We've got a delay between and then his delay was even longer than normal. It was sorry, my next.
And for me, Kelly is also very low, so it's even hard. Like he'll talk, and it's really even hard to hear for me anyway. Yeah. So maybe the caller couldn't hear him.
You were low for me in the beginning, but you're fine now. So
now you're whispering. It's like I have to really strain to hear you.
Both coming in about the same for me. So I think my stuff levels out the software. It brings him up and brings them down. So we'll see. Matter of fact, one of the things I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to go back and watch the streams, because now we're streaming too, and check and see how are we compared to the caller, for example. These sorts of things.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Let me do this. And I want to thank you guys.
I had a lot of fun today. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
I had a rough week, so I needed this. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I hope you get to feeling better. I mean...
Yeah, I hope you feel better, Kelly.
I am a bit. I'm not back 100% yet, but...
Yeah.
I'm getting there, so...
Soon. You be...
Some of the parts are wearing out. I need to either get new ones or just let them wear out, I guess.
Yeah. There you go. Get your money back. Something like that. We never heard from Fern. Fern is in the chat. Fern, wait. If y'all want to go, let's hear from Fern. Fern, what's going on, Fern? Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I was actually waiting for your cue. I wanted to ask that guy some questions, but that time has passed. But I think when you start having that moral argument, no, it's okay. It's your show, man. When you start having that moral argument, I think it's really useful to talk to them about what do you think the word objective or subjective means? Because a lot of times they don't really seem to have the same ideas about what those things mean. So All we mean is subjective is relating to a subject, an agent that has a capacity to make choices or to think, a moral agent of some kind. So in that sense, you can argue that, no, you don't have objective morality. You're using the subjective morality of God as your objective standard or divine command theory. But that's part of the argument as well. But there's a lot more that could go on there. I just wanted to talk to them about that stuff. That's all.
No, that's such a good point.
Thank you
though,
for
and I
the offer.
think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and Fern, it was just that I forgot, man. I forgot you were over there.
It's okay.
1,000 apologies. Sorry.
Quite all right. It's quite all right.
But the divine command theory, really, that's the best way to go with it. And I understand why they get hung up on the words objective morality, like a single source of morality. I get it, but that's not a very good way to think. And like Kelly said, like Justin said, the divine command theory is really what I think they believe, and they just call it objective morality.
Yeah, and so that's why it's useful to start early on in the conversation. Let's just clarify what you mean by objective versus subjective. And then if there's no way to make an agreement about what those terms mean, we can kind of put them aside and pick terms that work a little better for the conversation.
True. Yeah.
I like that.
Anyway, that's my opinion. Thanks for the time.
Awesome.
Thank you. Well, hopefully Chad was still watching, and he'll have heard what you said, and we'll visit if he calls back about it mañana. Appreciate you, Fern. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right.
That was killer.
That was very much. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. It is time for Ryan to go. We didn't get any super chats today. That does happen. So no need to read those off. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you.
Let me get that over there.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me be here. I look forward to being here on Tuesdays. This is freaking awesome.
It's a lot of fun. We enjoy having you. Yeah. And I've been, like I said, I'm making things better. Hang out, guys. I'm making them better. So, all right.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. I'm off.
See you later, Kelly. All right. So thank you, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Woden's Day. Woden's son is actually here. Tomorrow's Woden's Day. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow or today. Have a wonderful day today. Sin safely, my friends. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Confession booth busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find redeeming grace. From your living room to the kitchen sink, light the goat